Man, I like Rumi so much. I've always liked Rumi. He's either my favorite or one of my high favorites. So good, so real, authentic, practical, you know. And this sums up what I'm about, you can say, what my expression is when it comes to sharing about spirituality or awakening. That's why I wanted to make a video. A brother left a comment, and he gave this quote. I paraphrased it to make it short so it can, be a title. But I told him too. I said I'm gonna make a video on this. It's good. So we're having a satsang next Sunday, and this is pretty much my premise. This is where I'm going to be sharing from. I'm not a proponent of any one special technique or spiritual technique. There's so many. There's thousands. Just pray. Just pray. No matter what, just pray. Just do self-inquiry. All right, you're having a negative emotion. You're feeling out of sorts. Okay, that's happening in front of you, right? Okay, stay as the presence. Okay, just keep doing that. See, that can work sometimes. Maybe other times it doesn't work. We have to learn to read the vibration of our life force. How is our consciousness encouraging us via the life force to navigate any particular moment while we're playing this role of an individual self? It might be sometimes to pray. You can feel. I feel like praying. But what about mind? What about self-inquiry? I don't know. I want to just something. My devotional nature is activated now, and it feels like that's the right thing to do. Another moment may be, to do self-inquiry. Another moment might be you just switch off. Something just says, whoa. The mental software equipment seems to be really active. Okay, I'm just going to switch off. Another moment you might not be able to switch off. It depends how much bite is in that that story at that particular moment. Look, we're always going to have some identity while we're in a human form. Otherwise, you're going to just dematerialize. There has to be some identity always. So as long as there's some identity, there's space for you to get imbalanced, so to speak. Some situations are heavier than others. Do I need to give examples? You're sitting in your house, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and kills your whole family, but not you. Versus you're walking down the street and somebody bumped into you and they didn't say excuse me. What do you think's heavier? What do you do in those situations? It depends how the life force is guiding you. This is because I remember this is most important. Well, as opposed to hanging on to some spiritual technique or mantra or meditation or prayer or anything, and using that anytime something happens. That's okay. Do that for a while and just see if that works for you. That's all. I remember when I started, before I created this channel, I was like, what do you want to say though? Right? I was trying to box myself into some kind of expression, some spiritual expression or something. I'm like, okay, karma yoga, Raja meditation, self-inquiry, non-duality. What's your thing? What's your niche? What's the thing that works? Right? Because you're trying to serve people and you want to give them something that can potentially create a shift in their life for the better. What is that thing that you're a really strong proponent of and you believe in 100%? And I couldn't come up with anything. So then I asked myself, well, what did you do? You seem to be in a decent space. What did you do? Because you used to not be in a decent space. That's for sure. So what happened? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. Like Grace, did something. That's what happened. But Grace needs our cooperation to create a conducive, you can say, space inside and outside, meaning environment and company and friends and habits and attachment, all that. And inside, a quiet mind, not suppressing, not being a spiritual robot, looking at stuff, introspection, everything. I'm like, that's what happened. But I didn't even do that. The life force just had me do that. Who's the I that's like doing anything? There's an appearance of an I that's doing something. That's cool. You don't lose that. You can just walk around in some dazed state, like, whoa, nothing exists. That, yeah, it's weird. But I can't, this show runs itself. I can't take credit for anything, honestly, like I can't do it. But we're talking on practical level because this exists. There's absolute level and practical level. You ever notice if you're in a little bit of a debate or quibble with somebody in the spiritual realm, and I love it. I love debating or sparring, spiritual sparring. Depends of the person's, I need competition. That's the problem. All right. You ever notice when you were talking with somebody and you're sharing something, you're like, this is my experience. This is what happens. The person's stuck in their position so much, they can't, there's no space, there's no openness to say, oh yeah, that's another angle. I didn't think about that. This is what has to be allowed if you come to the satsang. It has to be like that. If I hear something, I might feel to challenge that, and there needs to be space to allow that. I trust that you trust me enough to be able to do that. All right, so I want to throw that disclaimer in there. But you ever notice you're having that conversation and you feel very authentic with what you're saying, and then the other person you're talking to, they, damn it, what was I going to say? Like you're getting into some deep introspection about motives on a subtle level, on a subconscious level. You're bringing that up. And you're like, this, and that. And then what they'll do, oh yeah, because I was talking the difference, practical level and absolute level. Practical level is what I'm talking about right now. Introspection and what the title says, basically. You're discovering the things that block your awakening. So you're talking about that. Maybe you're triggering the other person. Maybe it's subconscious. They don't even know it. They'll divert. They started talking with you on practical level, but now their ego's been challenged because they were very fixed in their position and thinking they're right. But somehow you cracked that. And so then they divert and go to trying to talk on absolute level as a means to escape this looking that they got challenged. They'll say something like, well, nothing really exists, really. Not really. So it's like, what difference does it make? There's nobody to even have this defect that we're talking about. So you see, it's diversion disguised as high spiritual realization. This is the stuff we like to catch out, that I like to catch out. This gives energy. This now we're doing something. We're not just yawning at each other and saying how spiritual we are. It's so boring. Now we're actually in the moment discovering, and through that discovery, transformation can happen. This is what we're doing. And I like that. And that gives energy. And then everybody who's open to that energy can bleed through and you can get a dose yourself. So that's what I discovered, though, in summary. I couldn't find, I tried it the hardest with self-inquiry. I was very diligent with that for years. I'm not going to give up. Actually, before that, it was yoga and meditation. Yeah. And then self-inquiry. I'm like, okay, no matter what, I'm feeling like this imbalance, or I'm feeling this ego identity. So I know that self-inquiry points to the fact that that's an illusion and it's going to pass. It's very real in the moment. You experience it in your software, emotional body, mental body, and yeah, okay. But I'm also aware that that's not me. Okay, but why don't I feel better? What's going on? See, that was the thing. So instead of defaulting automatically, compulsively, robotically to some certain spiritual technique, I learned to listen to the life force. And you know what? Sometimes the life force will tell you, like in a couple videos ago I made, sometimes you got to feel bad till you feel good. And then in that acceptance of that, all of a sudden you might start to feel better because you brought acceptance into it. This awakening thing is automatic, it's evolutionary. Even your, did I make it? No, I made a short video. Something like, the current murderers or future saints. Time hasn't caught up with them yet. So it's destiny that God is going to awaken through each individual expression. There's no way around it. Knowing that can help relax. At the same time, cooperate with the life force, how it's playing in this evolution of it trying to wake up. Everything's paradoxical if you get to the real quintessential essence of the truth. It's all paradoxical. You say, look, totally, that's why I say, try as hard as you can, but totally relax. The mind don't understand that. Now, you're not going to be able to do that perfectly, but that's the intention, you can say. Or act is another one. Act as though everything depends on you. Your awakening depends on you. Act like that. At the same time, pray as though everything depends on God. You see, this is balance. So I wanted to leave you with that message. I like Rumi. You can go check him out. He's not alive anymore, but you can read his books. See.